channel. Happy New Year. Today I wanted to share with you what a week into the pantry challenge looks like for me. I'm actually going to get started on some meal prep for this week. That way we can be a little bit more prepared for the work week ahead. The first thing I'm going to get started on is some salads for lunch, just regular leaf lettuce, which I'm sure by the end of this challenge I'll be really jonesing for, and some egg salad. I saw a trick to get the core out the other day. You're just supposed to be able to twist it. That's pretty neat.
To these salads, I ended up adding iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce, shredded red cabbage, shaved carrots, red onion, some sunflower seeds, croutons, a little bit of cheese, and some boiled egg. I should mention that adding croutons on top of the salads beforehand was not a very good idea. I should have packed them separately because when we went to go eat them, they were soggy. And nobody likes a soggy crouton.
A little trick that I learned when I learned to cut onions is before you make your first cut, try to breathe through your mouth the rest of the time and not through your nose. And that seems to work for me as far as keeping me from tearing up too bad while I cut an onion. I broke my own rule by talking just now and it's starting to burn already. These eggs are actually left over from me making some deviled eggs yesterday for New Year's. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop these into our salads for a little protein. These are some deviled eggs that are left over from yesterday too. Unfortunately, I splashed a little bit too much vinegar into my egg mixture. So these are a little bit vinegary. I don't plan on really eating any more of them. I don't think my husband will eat any more of them. So I'm actually going to scoop the filling out and we will just chop these up and use them for our salads. That way we don't waste them. I could rinse these off if I wanted to, but it's just egg filling. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. It'll just add some more flavor to our salad, if anything.
Plot twist, it did add some unsavory flavor to our salad, according to my husband. I thought it was okay, but he said it got kind of bitter towards the end. But, sometimes that happens when you're trying to repurpose a recipe.
Dinner for tonight will actually be pretty easy because we are just going to have some leftover lasagna that my mother-in-law made for us yesterday. So she gave us enough that we should have enough for 2 meals, so that will make it easier this week. And we also don't need a dinner for tomorrow because we have some family friends in town and we're going to go out to dinner with them before they have to go back to Seattle. So we are kind of getting lucky this week with not having quite as many meals to make as I normally would. Okay, so now I'm going to clean up from this and put all of these in the fridge, and then I will go ahead and get started on some tuna salad for myself, and I will get started on a breakfast casserole for us to eat throughout the week. I'm also going to add the rest of these deviled eggs into my tuna salad because I figure egg salad is very similar to tuna salad, except you swap your egg for tuna. I don't think it's going to taste bad, so I want to use these up. I'm going to go ahead and throw those in there as well.
I'm going to add some mayo, mustard,
Pinch of salt, pepper,
celery, red onion, our eggs, and we're done.
That's perfect. I probably need to eat dinner or I'm going to end up eating all my lunch.
Now I'm just getting some bread out to go with my tuna salad.
This is some homemade sourdough sandwich bread that I made the other day and froze. I love having this for lunch. So so after we get the breakfast casserole done, I will need to think of one dinner this week because tonight we'll have lasagna. Tomorrow we're going to eat out with our family friends that are coming into town. The night after that, which will be Wednesday, we will have lasagna again, and that'll probably be finished off. So we'll need to think of lunch or dinners for Thursday and Friday. And I think I have some pre-prepped freezer meals in there that we will have Thursday and Friday. So that means I'm like done with dinner. We don't need to think about dinner. Dinner's all taken care of. Breakfast is about to be taken care of because we're about to take care of that. We have several of the lunches figured out. And so now after I get the breakfast casserole done, I'm going to be focusing on the few lunches that we need done for the rest of the week. So let's get this chicken marinated and get this breakfast casserole made because I am already ready to be sitting down. This is going to be for our lunches. I'll probably do marinated chicken and cooked broccoli for my husband because he doesn't like raw broccoli, and then I'll eat some raw broccoli from our veggie tray from New Year's Day or New Year's Eve. This marinade that I'm doing is really simple. I don't really ever measure it. It always turns out good. I've never added too much of either of these ingredients. It's just 2 ingredients, unless you make your Italian dressing from scratch, which I have not tried that yet. I just pour some Olive Garden Italian dressing in here. Not a whole lot, just enough to coat it. And a hefty squirt of mustard. Just plain yellow mustard. And I'm just gonna massage that. Alright, I'm gonna seal this back up and let it sit for at least a half an hour while we're doing other things so it can get some good flavor on it, but I'd like to let it sit for longer than that if I can. For this breakfast casserole, I'm going to chop up the rest of that onion and get it sauteing in the pan. I'm going to grab out some chopped peppers that were from this year's garden and get those thawed out a little bit. And I'm not going to measure anything that's going into this casserole really. I'm just going to kind of slap it together and throw it in the oven because I feel like it's really hard to go wrong with a breakfast casserole. You can throw pretty much anything you want in there and it's going to be good to go. I'm actually going to add quite a few, probably this whole thing, which is 2 cups of peppers to this casserole because I have a lot of peppers from this year's garden that need to be used up. Over potatoes in here.
These are actually leftover potatoes that my mother-in-law gave us from New Year's Day.
Not really sure how many eggs I want to put in here. I'd prefer this to be enough breakfast for the entire rest of the week, so that would be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we can figure something else out on the weekend, what we want to eat. So that's 4. There's 2 of us, so that's 8 breakfasts. I think we'll probably get 6. We might have one breakfast where we just do whatever you feel like a Pop-Tart or something. By the end of the week, I'm usually pretty tired of the casserole anyway, so maybe we'll just try to get 6 out of this. So if we're doing 6, if we each have 2 eggs for breakfast, and we want 6 pieces, that'll be 12 eggs. I have 10. I have 10 eggs. I have more in there, but do I want to use them all up for this? Not really. So I guess I will just use 10 eggs and some half and half.
Here I'm just adding in the onions that we sauteed, and at this point everything has been mixed into the bowl. The eggs, the half and half, salt, pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and bell peppers.
Alright, get this poured over our potatoes. Ew, that was kind of gross sounding. It's going to have a lot of peppers in it, a lot. Very, very peppery. Alrighty, now I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 on the top rack until the middle looks done. So I put it on the top rack, that way it doesn't burn on the bottom, because at least I have a tendency to overcook my eggs whenever I do something like this. Oh crap, I forgot to mix in the cheese. We'll just put some cheese on top. You know what? I don't want the cheese to get too cooked, so I will cook it until it looks pretty set, and then I'll add some cheese on top. Alexa, set an alarm for 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
That way I don't forget about it. Ooh. In order to complete this week's meals, I need one more lunch, and that is going to be this marinated chicken.
The broccoli that I'm about to add to this other pan over here is actually seasoned with red pepper flakes, salt, and garlic powder, and that is the only way I can get my husband to eat broccoli.
Okay, while I wait for the breakfast casserole to finish up, I'm gonna go ahead and get started writing all of the meals for this week on our whiteboard. I try to do this every week when I do meal prep. It kind of just helps keep track of what we've eaten, what we haven't eaten. That way we don't end up getting to the end of the week with something going bad in the fridge and having to throw it away. Or when you're tired from work, you come home, you don't want to have to think about what's for dinner. I could just look at the board and go, hey, does this sound good? Let's have this one tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of that written down here so we have a place to reference everything at. So this is kind of what I got going here for this week's dinners. You know, I already mentioned Tuesday we're eating out with some family friends. Then we're having leftover lasagna. Then I have a couple of meal kits already put together in the freezer that I made a month ago from when I was doing some freezer meal prep. And so we're going to have pork tacos and cauliflower wraps. Over here, both of ours look a little bit different. Wednesday, we all eat out at work, so I'm going to eat out. My husband's going to have peanut butter and jelly and fruit. Thursday, we're both having chicken and broccoli, and then both Friday and tomorrow, we will have salads to fill in the rest of that. And as far as breakfast goes, we're going to have that breakfast casserole all week. If we run out of it, then we'll just have something quick like a Pop-Tart or a protein shake. Yep, that's done enough. It's a little brown on the top, but I'm not angry with some crispy cheese. I'd much rather it be crispy on the top than crispy on the bottom. So I was also thinking, and I think probably it would have cooked a little faster had I sauteed the peppers with the onions. That probably would have taken a lot of the moisture out, because I know peppers do have a lot of moisture in them, especially when you freeze them and then thaw them, a lot of moisture is released. That's probably why it was so jiggly in the middle. So I'm going to give this about, I don't know, 10 minutes to cool off, and then we'll cut into it. Oh, there goes my timer. Alexa, stop.
Now that I've got these all divided up, I'm going to let them cool for about 20 minutes before I put them in the fridge. That way the fridge isn't working extra hard to cool something down that's really hot.
That is it for week 1 of the Pantry Challenge. If you like this video, please consider subscribing or take a look at some of the other videos that I have posted. And stay tuned for week 2 of the Pantry Challenge. Thanks. Bye.